Now, from the Columbia Basin, your local news source, this is iFIBER 1 News, presented in high definition. The #1 source for real-time local news, local sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. With your iFIBER 1 News team, reporting news in real time as it's happening. From the iFIBER Communications HD broadcast studio in Ephrata, Washington, this is iFIBER 1 News, and it starts now.
Welcome to iFIBER 1 News. I'm Alan Troop, reporting news from around the Columbia Basin for Thursday, August 8th. Tonight, we report on the next step for Quincy in choosing the fire protection, and Soap Lake is hosting another boat race, despite a few concerns. We also look at 2 fires in Ephrata now considered arson, and the search continues in Washington for a man accused with abducting a teenager. In sports, we find out about the brackets for the Babe Ruth World Series hosted by Moses Lake. And our spotlight story tonight is about Moses Lake and their night out against crime. And we have the latest weather forecast for the Columbia Basin from the iFIBER 1 Weather Center. Our top story tonight. Quincy is talking to Grant County Fire District 3 before making any decision on starting a new fire department. Mayor Jim Hembry told the council last night that the committee is negotiating the fire district contract, wanted to meet with district officials about a consultant's report. The consultant, Emergency Services Consulting International, recommended continuing to contract with the district.
But I met with the committee and with our negotiating committee, and they would like to sit down with the fire district and talk about the report with the commissioners and the chief, and then come back and talk to the full council, I believe. So there really isn't anything to discuss this evening, but if you would like to make some sort of a comment this evening about either the report or the fire services, I will allow you to do that. I do apologize if you rearranged your schedule to be here this evening so you could hear what was happening, but unfortunately, there isn't going to be anything happening tonight.
The firm said it would cost the city about $1 million to start its own fire department. Hembry didn't say whether they would begin negotiating a new contract with the fire district. The city previously approved a 1-year contract for $325,000, along with hiring the consultant for $33,000. The council favored meeting with the fire district and begin discussing options and what the consultant's report meant. More boat racing is coming to Soap Lake. The City Council cited a strong need for economic development and granted a special event permit to bring a small outboard motor boat race to Soap Lake on September 13th and 14th. Councilmember John Glasgow abstained from voting, saying he was torn between economic development and the environmental threat to the lake's unique healing mineral water value. Seattle Outboard Association Representative Terry Anderson said the race could draw 1,000 people a day to Soap Lake. He wanted to move the race from Moses Lake to Soap Lake. Glasgow and resident Allison Gooding both voiced concern over the impact the racing could have on the lake. Anderson said they are sensitive to environmental issues and are prepared to contain any oil spill. The September race would be smaller than the hydroplane race in June. Races would include 9.5-foot boats that can be driven by children up to 40 miles per hour, and 13 to 14-foot boats driven by adults up to 100 miles an hour. There would be 30 to 40 race teams competing on a course closer to the Soap Lake City Park. Ephrata Police reported a dumpster fire Tuesday morning was arson. The Ephrata Fire Department received the call from the 1400 block of Basin Street Southwest at 5 a.m. and found several apartment complex residents fighting the fire. Police reported talking to several subjects, but no one saw anything. The fire was the second in the city in as many days. A shed reportedly exploded in fire early Monday morning on 3rd Avenue Northwest. Both fires are being considered arson and part of a series of fires set in the southwest area of town. Soap Lake wants to hear from you about how to change the city. City residents and business owners are invited to a Saturday downtown redevelopment session to gather public comments. The session runs from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Soap Lake City Hall, 239 2nd Avenue Southeast. Mayor Raymond Gravel and some city council members are expected to attend. The proposals addressed will be landscape features, pedestrian amenities, visitor and pedestrian safety elements, and bike and trail identification. The session will be facilitated by Washington State University School of Design and Construction Rural Community Initiative representatives. Each of the people you see here has warrants for their arrest and is wanted by various law enforcement agencies. If you see any of these people, the DOC asks that you not attempt to detain or apprehend them, but to call police. You can also call the Department of Corrections at 509-764-6180 during the day, or 509-762-1160 after 5 p.m. And we will be back after these messages with the latest from our iFIBER 1 Weather Center, sports, and more news.